Genetic engineering is defined as a process of using recombinant DNA technology to alter the genetic makeup of an organism. This is done by taking DNA fragments from a donor cell using specific enzymes to target the wanted proteins in the genome and extracting it from an organism. Then, the DNA fragments are inserted into the genome of the new cell, and now the recombinant DNA grows within the new cell, and now the genome is altered.
Arguably, dogs might have been the first organism modified by humans, as they are selectively bred to show certain desired characteristics and traits in their behavior and physical appearance. In 2009, beagles were modified to become more muscular. At a later date, scientists were able to modify a beagle that glowed, naming it Ruppy. The first commercialized crop brought to light in early 1900s was a tomato. It was created by a California biotech company. Researchers found the gene that codes for softening the tomato and created the technology to delete the gene. This jump-started the production of more genetically modified crops.
A few examples of genetic engineering include golden rice and fast-growing salmon. Golden rice is created with beta-carotene, which is the same thing found in carrots that allow for the orange color and the reason we say carrots lead to better eyesight. With golden rice not containing it, it gives individuals a daily dose of vitamin A, especially countries that can't afford a balanced diet. Fast-growing salmon is another genetic engineering option. Scientists have found that by altering the DNA in salmon, growth hormones can occur all year long, leading to a year-long better fishing and harvesting season rather than just when salmon are in season. Another example of genetic engineering used in the day-to-day life is the Pfizer and Moderna COVID vaccine. Both Pfizer and Moderna used mRNA gene sequencing to help the body recognize COVID. The mRNA is used to program some cells to produce certain proteins to fight off the COVID-19 virus.
Transfer of DNA from a somatic cell to an egg cell with removed nucleus and DNA. We have seen scientists cloning animals such as Dolly the sheep.
Like with most scientific research topics, there are pros and cons. Like previously mentioned with how the COVID vaccine was made, genetic engineering is a way of fighting diseases that would be otherwise deadly. Genetic engineering helps identify illnesses in unborn children, and doctors use this ability to identify sickle cell anemia. It can reverse some of the natural declines our bodies take as we get older, prolonging human life. And more sustainable food has been created with genetic engineering to stand a chance with harsh weather while containing the nutrients we need to survive.
The aspect of safety plays a huge role in the negative ideas around genetic engineering. Scientists have not been able to come up with a conclusive list of safety concerns with a lot of genetically engineered products and services. In today's day and age, the world is committed to a more inclusive environment, but with genetic engineering, it is only available to the wealthy, which creates a whole new level of exclusive behaviors. There are severe consequences of crossbreeding. Pugs, for example, were bred for their appealing physical traits, but some of these traits decrease their physical health. Their short faces and neck cause severe breathing problems, and their shallow eye sockets make them very prone to eye infections. There are ethical concerns regarding the consequences of crossbreeding dogs.
The big question, are we playing God? An example of questionable genetic modification is the pug. Is it fair of us as people to cause these health problems just for our own desires? Another example that brings forth a question of ethics is the designer baby. The designer baby are babies that have had their genome mutated to be less susceptible to disease, have good hearing or vision, or even have selected physical characteristics such as height, eye color, or hair color. Is it wrong to manipulate these babies' genetics and ultimately the genetic gene pool? Only the very wealthiest percent of the world's population can afford such an expense. Is it fair to allow access to these technologies to the upper class? Scientists have stated that eventually the goal is to completely eradicate illnesses such as cystic fibrosis, muscular dystrophy, Down syndrome, and even cancers that are passed down through genetics. If and once this happens, the population will greatly increase. Will we have the technologies to support this extreme population growth? Another possibility is bringing extinct animals back to life. Although bringing dinos back to life may sound crazy, today's genetic engineering technologies are capable of making this happen. Currently in Siberia, scientists are harvesting the genetic materials of animals from the Ice Age. Over many years, the mammoth genetic sequence has slowly been put together and is very close to being complete. When it is complete, the mammoth will be brought back to life. These are just a few examples, but the possibilities of genetic engineering in the future are endless.